Welcome to N2K, everything you need to know, tweet, share, and watch online. From amazing viral videos to the hottest social media trends, this is the world according to the web. Coming up, the presidential tweet that broke the internet. We meet the internet's only blind film reviewer. And what to expect from the greatest show in all of gaming. But first, it's time to find out what the world has been watching this week. And we start with some of the biggest and most dangerous woodwork using a chainsaw. The Modern CNC Machines YouTube channel showcases some mega machines.
That's 100 RPM. I'm gonna crank it up to about 500.
Spinning huge blocks of wood rapidly around a center, the channel's crafters shape and smooth the wood with chainsaws, blades, and files. These crafters use heavy machinery as well as handheld equipment to create furniture and ornaments out of huge trees. While definitely one of the weirder watches online, hypnotic videos of stuff being made always proves popular. And this trance-inducing DIY clip is no different, amassing an amazing total of almost 700,000 views. Next, science strikes back against lightning. Since the time of Benjamin Franklin, no one has ever recorded high-speed video images of a lightning connection to a regular building, one which isn't the size of a skyscraper. That's because catching the precise moment lightning strikes a lightning rod takes a lot of watching and a whole heap of patience. Fortunately, physicist Marcelo Saba and his team from Brazil's National Institute for Space Research were able to wait it out. Their video, captured at 7,000 frames a second, shows the lightning coming down meeting an upwards leader from the building. The video is one of a kind and stands as data scientists can use to help protect regular buildings from lightning strikes, as before they were working from models and theories and not hard evidence. For all the people watching online though, it's an amazing video of natural phenomenon that you won't see anywhere else. And finally, a rocket-powered fidget spinner. We did a feature on some of the best fidget spinners from the net last week, and yes, we're well aware the craze is winding down. The backyard scientist likes to experiment at home with chemistry, engineering, and technology, and his most recent video turns to the global craze. Building a custom fidget spinner out of an aluminium plate, the backyard scientist strapped 3 rocket engines to it to see if it would spin 1,000 miles per hour.
We got the fidget spinner all wired up. I have sandbags to hold the base down because even though I tried to make sure it's super balanced, it still might go a little crazy and who knows what'll happen.
It going a little crazy turned out to be an understatement.
The third rocket exploded instantly as soon as I lit it, and unfortunately it was pointed at Sandra, and it shot like a piece of gunpowder right through the plastic table, and it ended up under her ankle, and she was sitting cross-legged, so she's totally fine. She just doesn't want to play with the rockets anymore.
His second attempt was far more successful. The fidget spinner managed to reach 188 miles per hour, and nobody was injured. A successful experiment then, and a successful viral hit. With over 3 million views, this is one of the backyard scientists' most popular videos. In top search, we see Ramadan observed online. Ramadan is a time for Muslims across the world to come together. And one organisation in London is inviting people from different backgrounds and cultures to combat the stereotypes around Muslims and Ramadan. The Ramadan Tent Project is hosting open iftar every night from 8 p.m. during the religious month. Founded back in 2011, the charity has been focusing on their mission to bring positive change through social actions and interfaith dialogue. And what better way to carry out social actions than on social media? The project turned to Facebook to gather momentum, allowing Muslims and non-Muslims alike to mingle online before meeting offline. Elsewhere online, some familiar faces from across the globe have taken to social media to wish the Muslim community a happy Ramadan. Canadian President Justin Trudeau took to social media to share his well wishes.
This week, Muslims in Canada and around the world mark the beginning of Ramadan. People will gather in mosques and in homes with family and friends to observe this holy month. Everywhere it's celebrated, Ramadan reminds us to appreciate our many blessings, give back to our communities, and put the needs of others before our own. This year, as we mark Canada's 150th anniversary, let's celebrate the many traditions, cultures, and beliefs that make our country such a great place to live. Muslim Canadians make enormous contributions to our country and help make Canada the strong, open, and inclusive place it is today. On behalf of our family, Sophie and I wish all Muslims a happy Ramadan.
Meanwhile, London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who is observing Ramadan himself, shared this message with the world.
Assalamu alaikum. As Ramadan gets underway, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my very warmest wishes to Muslims, both in London and across the world, as we observe this holy month. And I hope that all of those who are fasting during these long summer days will find strength and solace in their daily routine.
Up next, America remembers their fallen soldiers. Monday, the 29th of May, was the annual Memorial Day in America. The federal holiday remembers those who have died in military service for the United States of America. Dating back to 1868, the Remembrance Holiday is held on the last Monday of May every year. US President Donald Trump spoke at Arlington National Cemetery to give his first Memorial Day speech as Commander-in-Chief. The speech and wreath-laying at the tomb of the unknown soldier is deemed as one of the most important acts a president has to carry out.
It is because of families like yours that all of our families can live in safety and live in peace. To every Gold Star family who honors us with your presence, you lost sons and daughters, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers. They each had their own names, their own stories, their own beautiful dreams. But they were all angels sent to us by God, and they all share one title in common, and that is the title of hero. Real heroes.
Celebrities also took to the world of social media to share their thanks to fallen servicemen and women. Former President Barack Obama took a moment to share a photo of himself and his wife visiting those who died fighting for the country he once ran. And America's favorite funny guys, Chris Pratt and John Krasinski, shared a solemn moment with their Twitter followers and promoted the Memorial Day Murph Challenge. Next, the tweet that broke the internet. In true Donald Trump fashion, he took to Twitter to share his upset about Covfefe? That's right, his late-night tweet finished with the sentence, "Despite the negative press, Covfefe." Many are disputing whether the new word was just a typo or something else, a secret code perhaps? The tweet came just after midnight, adding to the confusion. Was Mr. Trump tweeting in his sleep? As you would expect, Twitter lit up with people commenting on the president's mysterious or mistaken message. Some highlighting why no one is monitoring the president's tweets. others just making sure they don't miss the Covfefe hype. And others highlighted how the president's weird midnight tweet was getting more coverage than real-world issues. And to add to the pressure of finding out whether Covfefe is a code, question, or thing, Trump graced us with a second tweet that just added to the mystery. Even Press Secretary Sean Spicer flatly added to the Twitter hysteria by saying this.
I think the president and a small group of people know exactly what he meant.
And former political opponent Hillary Clinton believes there's a reason behind the president's unorthodox Twitter presence.
Pushing the guy, failing to reaffirm our commitment to NATO, all of that. And how do we recover from that? Well, we began to divert people again. I mean, you can't let Trump and his allies be a diversion. They are a threat. And they have been effective up until now. So Twitter is a perfect example. You're going to drive up the numbers. You've got more people chasing rabbits down rabbit holes. You've got all kinds of stuff happening. Why? To divert attention. It's like Covfefe. Trending worldwide. Maybe for a minute you'll forget the latest accusations about them conspiring with Russia, or their trillion-dollar mathematical mistake in their budget, or depriving 23 million people of health care.
Diversion or mistake, without clarification from the president himself, who's to say? Looks like the Covfefe mystery is here to stay. Still to come, gaming's greatest get ready to go head-to-head at E3 2017, and we enjoy the Tommy Edison experience. Coming up, we predict the show-stopping surprises of E3 2017 and meet Tommy Edison, the blind film critic. Next, Tinseltown prepares to become Pixeltown. Every year, in the shadow of the Hollywood Hills, gaming's greatest gather to reveal their newest titles. Over the course of its 22-year history, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3, has become the most important event in the gaming calendar. Publishers and developers, great and small, save up their biggest surprises and most exciting announcements for the week of the show, as games expert John Hicks explains.
It's the biggest and most important trade show in the video games industry. It's the opportunity that all the publishers, all the media, all the communities kind of come together and hear about what everybody's going to be shipping this Christmas and what they're kind of working on in future. It's the equivalent of like all the film companies come together and announce all their blockbusters at once.
With every publisher trying to give gamers the biggest surprise, it's only natural that a lot of what will be at the show is shrouded in secrecy. But that doesn't mean people have no idea what to expect from E3 at all. And with the event set to kick off in a matter of days, here are some solid suggestions for what we could be seeing from the two biggest publishers in all of gaming. If it's a show-stopping press conference you're looking for, you should go and see Sony. For the past few years, the PlayStation crew has wowed the crowds with a stellar lineup of titles. From the long-awaited Final Fantasy VII remake to the long-thought lost The Last Guardian, Sony has beguiled gamers with blockbuster after blockbuster. And last year was no different.
For the next hour, we hope to astound you with a lineup of games that are both dazzling and transformative, with a few surprises along the way.
Sean Layden, president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, was not wrong. Their roster of releases both dazzled and delighted the crowds in the auditorium and all of those watching the press conference stream online. And chances are we'll be seeing more than one of these games in one form or another this year. Like God of War, for instance, the Viking-styled reboot of PlayStation's bloodiest blockbuster franchise. While older entries in the series were steeped in Greek mythology, this new entry transports angry axe-wielder Kratos to new lands ruled by Norse gods, and has him take on his greatest challenge yet, raising a son.
Really, I mean, this is a game about a father and a son through a very dangerous, hostile Norse landscape. And I think through that journey, they'll experience similar moments to the ones that we witnessed in the demo. And it's really exploring and humanizing Kratos in a way that you haven't seen him before.
Another title we're hoping to see more free is Days Gone, a game about a motorcycle gang and zombies. This genre mashup has mostly remained a mystery since the last E3, so hopefully this year we'll get to see it riding high again at Sony's conference.
Look around, brother! You know how this is gonna end.
On to the opposition next, and while Microsoft may be lagging behind Sony in terms of sales, they've got something up their sleeve that should give Xbox a shot in the arm. Or should that be sting in the tail?
2 years ago, when we started on this journey, you told us you wanted certain things from us. You wanted power, you wanted community, you wanted choice. This product that we're announcing today is absolutely the culmination of all of your feedback and something that we think will truly move Xbox forward.
The product head of Xbox Phil Spencer is alluding to is Project Scorpio, an updated Xbox One and the self-proclaimed most powerful console ever made. While we may not know what the machine is actually going to be called, Scorpio is just a codename, we do know plenty of other juicy tidbits of information. For instance, the console's GPU will pack a massive 6 teraflops of graphical performance, and for those who don't speak computer jargon, that means games are going to look really, really good. The 4K kind of good. With the most powerful console ever in their arsenal, expect Microsoft to make lots of noise about Scorpio and the beautifully rendered future it offers up. But according to rumors, some of that future will look a lot like the past, as Microsoft mines its Xbox One back catalogue. If the hearsay holds up, then we could be seeing enhanced versions of Xbox greatest hits. We're talking Halo 5, Gears of War, and the already stunning Forza Horizon 3 remastered with the kind of graphical oomph that is sure to knock our socks off. Finally, the net star uploading his adventures online. Dubbed as the internet's favourite blind guy, Tommy Edison is using his visual impairment to take us into his world. Being born blind, Tommy has spent his life doing things most people don't expect blind people to do, which is how his internet stardom started. Being a lover of all things film, Tommy decided to share his frustrations after watching the movie Scream 4. And that's how his blind film critic adventure began 6 years ago.
The inspiration for the Blind Film Critic channel really came from a movie I saw one time. You know, it was frustrating. I could follow the movie all the way to the end, and then there was no resolution, right? Everything was done without words. So we got the idea to review movies from a blind person's perspective, as we, Ben and I both thought it was something that sighted people had never seen before.
Having never actually seen a film, Tommy's adaptation of what's happening on screen engages his audience's senses. And with the usual kick of humour, Tommy gives a rating of eyes open. Tommy's film reviews were only the beginning of his internet stardom. As his popularity grew, he took his unique YouTube offering to the next step. Tommy uses comedy to break down people's preconceptions of political correctness when talking to a blind person.
Well, the inspiration for the Tommy Edison XP channel really came from the movie reviews that we were doing as the Blind Film Critic. A lot of people were curious about my life as a blind person and how I did things, like how I knew the difference between money, how I used the ATM, how I got dressed in the morning. So rather than just write an answer back to the comments, we thought, maybe it'd be fun to shoot videos and answer the questions that way.
Tommy's 2 channels, the Tommy Edison Experience and the Blind Film Critic, have accumulated nearly 60 million views on YouTube with over 500,000 subscribers. From describing what he thinks celebrities look like, to guessing what's in his mail, he's always finding new ways to entice his audience. He also works with other YouTube stars and contributors to give a more varied insight and comparison into his world. In this video, Tommy works with fellow YouTuber Christine Ha to look at the differences between being born blind and becoming blind later in life. The two discuss how Christine views life being blind but knowing what things look like. For example, Christine dreams in full vision because her brain remembers life before. But Tommy's brain doesn't have images to work from, so he doesn't see when he dreams. Tommy has had a number of jobs during his pre-YouTube fame. Working for years as a radio DJ and reporter, Tommy's natural ability to engage with people developed into public speaking. People now hire him to talk about his life and tell his story. Using audience suggestions and questions, Tommy helps them understand the world of a blind person. After 6 years of creating videos, how does he find new ideas to keep his huge audience hooked?
A lot of the ideas for the channel come from viewers asking questions. They're curious about things, and I'll answer one question, it might spur 5 other different questions. Some of the games that we play, well, I'm a big fan of game shows, and I just figured they'd be fun to play. For example, the mailbag game is a lot of fun. People open mail online, but for me, as somebody who's blind since birth, I get to open the mail and try and guess what it is. And honestly, I think it makes it a lot of fun that way.
Tommy's light-hearted nature and humour have resulted in some of his videos being watched over 5 million times. The most popular being, Can Blind People Draw? In this video, he draws a cat, a car, and himself at the request of his audience. He may not be born an artist, but he is a born performer. That's it for this week's show. Join us again next time on N2K, where we'll have more stuff you need to know.